Hello and welcome to the Home and Learn video course for VisualBasic.net. I'm Kenny Carney and today we're going to be exploring properties. So if you create a new project, Windows Form application, and call it something like exploring properties. Right. And I can click OK. And I should get my new form. There it is. So let's explore some properties. Make your form a little bit bigger. You can drag here. And let me drag this one up a bit. If you want to give yourself more space, it's a little bit fiddly. And these are the properties around here we're going to explore for various controls. And the form itself has a whole host of properties you can explore. Let's try one. Let's see down here. If you wanted to, let me make this a bit bigger. Alright, if I click on this one for background image, and you'll see when you click on a property, you'll see an explanation down here. The background image used for the control. So click on the little buttons, and you can have an image. Project resource file. We'll try to import one of these. Show you what it does. And I think I've got something in documents. Images, that one. Say I wanted to use this, and I click open, and it's imported into as a project resource file. There's the image. I can click OK. Looks a bit big for the form. You can see here it has imported it as a resource right into your project. Click back on the form. Where's that image? It's up here somewhere. And that one, background image, wasn't that? Background image, and there's a background image layout. So it's tiled at the moment. I can set it on, say, stretch, and I get the whole image for that one. So it's tile, the center, not very good. Zoom. So that's the background image. If you don't want that one, click that button again. And click on none. Click OK, and it's back to grey. Speaking of images, there's also an icon you can set. You can see here, this is the default icon. And if you scroll down, you'll see icon. There's the default. But if you've got an icon of your own, you can use that one. Again, have a click on here, and it needs an ICO file, an icon file. You can create these in any icon editor. There's plenty of icon editors on the internet. You can get them for free, I think. Let's have that one. Click open, and there it is. Let me run this one. You can see I've got to drag this form here. There's the HTML. That's the icon we're going to use. Icon. You can see if you click this on, there's different sizes, 16 by 16. You may have one that's 32 by 32 or 64 by 64. So that is the icon. There's also the form border style, which is sizable. Before we do that, let me have a look at this. The start position. So when I had to drag the form about into the middle of the screen, instead you can set a center screen. Which I always forget to do. Let me go back up here. The form border size, which is sizable at the moment. So if I started this, and it's sizable, right? I'll make it this big. I'll make it wide or high. Right, that's sizable. There's also options: fixed 3D, fixed single, fixed dialogue. Let me do fixed 3D. Start this one. You can see I can't change it now. I can't change that one at all. That is fixed 3D. Also for properties, there is max, minimize buttons. Maximize box. True determines whether a form has a maximize box in the upper right corner of its caption bar, which is this one. I can set that one to false. Equally, there's a minimum. If I set that to false, immediately these two buttons disappear. So I've just got an X there. You can set them back to true. So if you set those to false, then you wouldn't be able to maximize the form or minimize the form. Let me add a button to the form. There's a few things you can do with buttons. Maybe make it a little bit bigger there. Button. One of these is you can have an image on your button. An image. That one. Image property. Again, click the three buttons. You could have that pick. I could import another file. Let's have logo or another line. Down below. Okay. And we've got. And the text for the button, of course, you can delete that one if you're at an image. You didn't want the text getting in the way. Start that one, and there's the button. Logo. That's the image one. And there's also a text line. Let me get rid of that image. Just have the text. So if you don't want the image, click on there again, set it to none, and click OK. And so add some more text. Say, click me. And there's a property just below that text line. Middle center, you can see all these little buttons. So you have it at the top, the bottom, middle left, all of those to explore. There's the middle one, we'll put it back on that one. There's also, for buttons, there's an enabled property. Well, for most forms, there's an enabled property. You can set that one to false. And if I start the form, you'll see I won't be able to click on this button. Can't click on it anymore. This comes in handy if you wanted to open a file and you had an open file button and you were trying to write to a file. You might want to switch one button on and switch them off. So you can do that with the enabled property. Also a visible property that's quite useful for certain controls. That's the button. Let me add a text box here. This I'll try to make it bigger, but it doesn't. It's a single line. So the first property you might want to set is this one, multi-line. The default is false, but if you set it to true, there you go. You can have different sizes. Multi-line property. Also one below that, well, password char. Let me set that back to false. False. Password jar. Suppose you had a password box, or a password text box. You could enter the character you want to use to hide the password. That's the asterisk. That's the one people are used to. And if I try to type anything in this box, it'll just take lots of asterisks. That's a password jar. If you ever wanted a password box. Also. It's a background color. If you wanted to have a different background color, custom color, make it yellow, times yellow. What else is there? Border style, fixed 3D. Let's see what that looks like. Fixed single. You can have that one. You have none, which is like a faint box. That's a none. Which you probably don't want, to be honest. Maybe done. Fix 3D. Yeah, it's okay. Also one there called character casing. Indicates if all characters should be left alone or converted to upper or lowercase. So you could do, say with upper. If I started this form, whatever you typed in the box will now be uppercase. It's all uppercase, that one. False is uppercase for a text box. You have lowercase, of course. What else have we got? There's a max length one. Right. 32,767 characters by default. So if it was a password, you might want to limit it now to 15, 20, or however big you want the password to be. You might want to limit that for security reasons. The tab index, that's 1. So when you press the tab key on your keyboard, and it will jump. So if you've got a second text box on the form, like here, you can set that tab index is now 2. So whenever you press the tab key on your keyboard, it will jump from 1 to 2. You could set that the other way around. This could be 1. You just delete the 1 there, the 2 there, and put a 1 in its place, and that one could be 2. It's also a text align. So you can have it left, right, or center for your text. Put it in right. Start. So now if I click inside the text box and try to type in, it's on the right. Right inside. Move that one out of the way. And put it back to left. Delete that text box. It's also an anchor property. Anchor. This one. So if I want the default is top left, but if you click on here, you'll see lots of options. If you click on the white, you'll find there's nothing. So it's these bits in between. So if I did that and then that, clicked away, there will be none. So I've switched them all off. So I might want to anchor it to, say, that one at the bottom, anchor it to the left, anchor it to the right. Now if I started the form, that's what happened. Nothing. Have I made that fixed? I've made that fixed, haven't I? Let me click back on the form. Form border style, I think it was wrong. 16 yard. It's sizable, didn't I? Sizable. See what that does. Alright, so that's anchor. You can see it's always shifting with here. The text box, it is shifting down. The button stays in exactly the same position, but because we've anchored the text box to the left, right and the bottom, it will always move. You can see that better if I did it, if I did this one multi-line back to true. Start. Right, let's resize this one. You can see the text box is all getting bigger. If you resize the form. Also a dock property for these kinds of controls. Dock. None by default. You'll see these buttons. You want to dock it to the bottom. Immediately it jumps to the bottom. Now if I start it, resize it, the text box is all the way at the bottom. Trying to get that on. And it stays at the bottom. Fine, there's a final one for the form, which is of course the text property right at the top. You might want to do exploring properties. Am I spell that right? And then you get the text changing in the top, on the top of your form. It should look like that. Exploring properties right next to the icon. I think we'll leave it there for properties, but I encourage you to explore all the properties for a particular control. See what they do. We'll see you in the next video.